Good morning. There is so much I want to talk about, but first, here's your daily rice field update. Uh, where do we even start? I went out to eat last night, voluntarily, by myself, for the first time in 42 days. 42 days. I went out for dinner, and I finally had a catalyst, which is I am looking to move to a different hostel or villa or something in the next week or two. So TBD on that. But it made me think, like, well, if I'm gonna leave, like, let's explore some of the restaurants and area around here. So anyway, it was very funny. I I just picked, like, the one that I had a recommendation from. So outsourced that, got the recommendation, and then I just picked the Italian one, which is the one that I knew I would like because I like Italian food. And I asked ChatGPT, what are the most popular things to get? It said wood fire pizza and pasta, and then like some other things. And I was like, all right, great. I'm gonna get a wood fire pizza and I'm gonna get a pasta. And then I went to the Google Maps reviews. I went to the menu page, and you know how they say, like, they list, like, popular items. The first was, I think the first was a pizza, and then the second was a pasta, and I literally just got those two. So we are outsourcing decisions. I'm learning. But anyway, the pizza was probably the best pizza I've ever had in my entire life. Like, the dough was so good. So good. I will post it in my life update post if you want to see the pictures. The pasta was, it was okay. It needed a little bit of something. And then I had a tiramisu. Anyway, where do I want to go with this? I paid 416,000 rupiah, 26 US dollars, which, oh, I have so much I want to say. So much I want to say. I think where I want to go with this is, well, yeah, first off, I have been teased for eating at basically exclusively tribal, the hostel. And one of the things was because tribal is very expensive. It's just interesting. I usually pay like 260 to 290 thousand in rupiah. It's like 18 US, around there, plus or minus. And sure, I had dessert here. Like, I wouldn't normally have that, but it's like, what is this? And yes, okay, I went to one restaurant, but like, what is this? Like, oh my god, 280K is so expensive. Like, come on. Anyway, what I really wanted to talk about, and now that that's out of the way, is something I was thinking about on the way. Oh, there's so much I want to talk about. Do I bring that up? Yeah, let me. So, very, very briefly, maybe there's not. There's so much going on in my brain right now. Rewind like 2 minutes. Talking about, like, the whole outsourcing my decisions, and like, this is the first time I've gone out for. I had a Zoom chat with my family the other day, and we were talking about Christmas presents, and we're all scattered around the world. So and I can't get any like mail or packages in Bali. So my brother brought up this idea just like randomly. I don't know if he thought about it before or not, but he was like, oh, what if we got you, and he kind of made a joke, because it's like, it's not that expensive to hire a private driver, like your own private driver for a day. It's like $60 or whatever it is. And so he was like, oh, what if we all pooled our money and spent the, $60? um, and his idea was like, what if we got you a private driver and like, planned out your day, like had one day that was like, all right, you're going to go surfing in the morning, and then you're going to do this in the afternoon, and you're going to go to this restaurant and this restaurant, or what, like whatever it is. But like the point being, it's planned for me and I just show up. And I was like, actually, that's a really good idea, because I don't like the planning phase. There's too many decisions. And so this is why, if you'll notice, if you had noticed, I was like, I didn't search for a restaurant. I just chose one of the ones that I got a recommendation from. I just like, I outsourced that decision to somebody else, and I just picked based on a recommendation, and I just went there, and then I chose the food that was recommended by somebody else. I didn't want to have to make the decisions. And so one of the things that I really want, and that I've started to think more about very briefly, like the back of my mind, is when I have gobs and gobs of money, I think I will end up hiring a travel planner for me. And I think my dream is that I have someone that's like not full-time, but like working directly with me like year round. And my dream, at least right now, is that I don't plan like anything. I mean, I could be like, oh, I really want to go to Madeira or something, and like they'll figure it out. But I think my dream is that I just get a message, I get an email from them, and they're like, hey, Peter, so just so you know, you have a 2-week trip booked February 3rd. Just make sure you show up to this airport. And then, your whole itinerary is planned. We have private driver or whatever. All of your activities are planned. Just show up. And that sounds so amazing. That sounds so, to just not think about anything, just have it all be a surprise, just like be able to be fully present and have someone be able to like sprinkle in the types of activities that maybe I wouldn't normally choose, but that would be rewarding. So, okay, that's what I wanted to say. I should make these into 2 videos, but I'm not. That's okay. Back to food. So I ate pizza and pasta and a tiramisu. And on my walk back, I was thinking like, I wouldn't normally, or it wouldn't be the smartest and healthiest to eat like this every day. I mean, it was like the amount of carbs I had was like, like the carb nutrition ratio was like 90% carbs and then like 10% everything else. And that just compared to the meals that I've been eating at the hostel, it's like, it just doesn't even compare. And yes, okay, it was an Italian place, and then yes, okay, I went out to just one restaurant. But if I take this experience as a subset and generalize it, I don't think if under the assumption that I want to optimize and prioritize my mental, physical health and focus and energy, doing that every night is not smart. Because like I need a broader source of nutrients and less carbs. And it just made, this is how I connect this. Yes, it made me think back to, again, getting teased for eating at Tribal. And I will call out this one person particularly because they started it. I won't use his name, but anyway, this one guy, it's okay. We had a conversation later. He was a nice guy, very, very nice, very respectful. But I want to laser in on this teasing me for eating out. Over the course of whatever, the 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, like I notice what people eat here, and I, over the last 3 years, have started to, or maybe not started to, but have gotten a lot more intentional about what I eat and associated what I eat with my energy and my focus. So one of the reasons 3 years ago, to August 2021, 2 years ago, that I started both intermittent fasting. Well, that was different. Actually, was it? I don't know. But I shifted from like going very meat heavy or meat focused to more plant-based, was because I started to associate any lunch or dinner I had that had a lot of meat. Now it wasn't, I don't think it was exclusively meat, but anytime I had one of those meals, I felt like just like food coma, like carb crash, whatever you want to call it, like just unable to do anything but exist on the couch scrolling social media after my meal. And I didn't like that feeling. And I didn't get that feeling when I ate more plant-based, vegan, vegetarian, etc. I am not exclusively vegan or vegetarian, but it's anything I do is thinking about energy and focus in the back of my mind. Like, if I eat this burger, I'm probably not gonna feel as good in terms of focus after. And so it's just like that intention, that thought is in my mind. So, but from what I've watched in this hostel, it feels like I'm almost on this like, it feels like I'm on a different plane of existence sometimes. And I think because over the last 2 to 3 years of like being so intentional and thinking about food and focus and energy so much, like I've grown to learn things that just feel normal to me. But like, I'll give you some examples. This, here at the hostel, they have a whole bunch. I mean, go look at my blog post for like the types of food that they have. But they have, the thing that I would say is like the more unhealthy is they have fried chicken, fried cauliflower, but the main thing is like burgers. They have a, what is it, a vegan like quinoa parsley kind of burger. They have a fried chicken burger, and they have a beef burger, and they come with fries. And I would say that's probably one of the more unhealthy things on the menu. And so, yes, I do get it every once in a while. But I think about like, okay, think about all the oil that I'm eating, like the fried food. It's just like, and like the amount of carbs in it. And so I think about that stuff. But like this one guy that was teasing me, like I watch him eat burgers from Tribal like so much. And shifting this conversation more to like focus and energy broadly, I have been intermittent fasting for probably that same time period, like two years, like almost very consistently. And to me, it's just become normal. It's become second nature that if you are trying to prioritize your focus, you don't eat breakfast in the morning. Like, or, for me, I like to do my focus time in the morning. And so it has become second nature that like the amount of clarity and focus that I have while I'm fasted is just like on another level from at any point when I eat food. Doesn't matter what. And so that has become like second nature to me. And yesterday, I was doing work and I looked up and I've seen this one girl like sitting across from me in this other section. And I've seen her like working every morning basically. And yesterday, I watched at 8 a.m. She ordered a meal, and guess what that meal was? It was a fried chicken burger with a side of French fries at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. in the morning. And I was like, are you trying? Like, it to me, I want to tell you my perspective. That looks like self-harm. If you're trying to prioritize your focus and actually do quality work, it looks like self-harm to me. Like, why would you put yourself through that? And another example, was it yesterday? It might have been yesterday or the day before. Same situation, same area. This other guy, probably, 8:30, 9 a.m., ordered a meal for breakfast. Guess what it was? A pancake stack. 3 pancakes with a scoop of ice cream on top and some fruit around the outside. And again, it's just like, if you're trying to prioritize your focus, why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense to me. And so sometimes I just like, I feel like I'm on a different. Last night, I came back from the restaurant and overheard this other guy who I've met before. He was ordering at the hostel counter, and he ordered a beef burger with 2 patties. And normally, I wouldn't say that's like anything crazy. He's a big guy. I've seen him eat at the other Village Green restaurant before, and he ate like 2 steaks one time with a side of fries, and another time he got 1 steak and 1 burger with fries. And just hearing him talk about like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do like a deep work session after lunch, and then last night seeing him like working after ordering that, like my initial thought was like, why? Why would you do that to yourself? So anyway, I think I've given you the examples. I'll let you connect the dots. I think I've connected enough dots for you. I think I want to bring it back to like that moment of getting teased for eating what I was eating and eating at Tribal. Like, we'll take expensive off the table and move it to the side for now. But it made me think of like who you get your advice and recommendations from. Like, what type of people do you get your advice from? And I think initially, you know, I felt like I was in the wrong, for eating out or eating at this one place and for what I was eating, and that I was not going to restaurants. But as I explained and thought more about this, that I am choosing to prioritize my mental health, physical health, and energy and focus over the variation of going out to eat. As I've started to think about that more and notice what this, I'll call him out, what this guy in particular eats, it's like, I don't think we value the same things. I don't think he's thinking, okay, am I eating this burger and understanding that after I'm gonna hit a carb crash because of like this huge meal that I'm eating for lunch, and that I'm probably not gonna get my best work done in the next 2 to 3 hours after this meal. Is he thinking that? Probably not. And that's okay. Like, you do you. But if I'm gonna take your advice, you're using a different value system than I'm using. And so I just think like I'm not gonna take advice from someone on what to eat for me based on what I prioritize from someone who eats burgers all the time and pancake stacks in the morning for breakfast. Like, am I going crazy? Am I crazy? And I'll wrap this up by, I started reading Don't Die by Brian Johnson last night. He's the anti-aging biotech crazy CEO spending millions of dollars to reverse his speed of aging. Apparently he came out with a book. I didn't know he was working on it, but it's free on Kindle. I think it's like $10 or $12 paperback. I don't have an Amazon affiliate link to plug, but I just started reading it, and connecting all of this back to, I've consumed a lot of his content, so I already know like kind of his ideas and his blueprint protocol and stuff like that. Connecting all of that back to, as I started reading all of this like wealth of data points and experiences that I've heard from him, it feels like, it just feels weird sometimes. Like I don't want to give the impression or make the association that I feel like I'm better than these other people. I think it's just that we value different things. But then I question, why don't people value this more? Why don't people think about what they're putting in their bodies? And I'm not going to the extreme. Like, look, I had a tiramisu last night. Like, I'm not the extreme here. But like, I think it's more the daily. Like, are you having a burger every day? Are you having a pancake stack for breakfast before your deep work session? Like, let's take out the extremes here. Like, why don't people prioritize this more? And it brings me back to something else, which is this conversation that I had with this girl here. If you've read my blog, I'm plugging my blog posts a lot. I don't have anything to sell you. Basically, we talked about prioritization a lot, and sleep came up as one of the big things. Like, she keeps working in the evenings, which is pushing back her sleep, which is making her focus worse the next day, etc. Death spiral. And one of the questions I asked her was, simply out of curiosity, why don't you prioritize your sleep more? And I actually wanted to understand. It was a genuine curiosity question, because I remembered Brian Johnson, and like, he puts his sleep as the foundation of everything. Like, sleep is non-negotiable. And I've started to move in that direction, not as a non-negotiable, but as it is a priority to me. I'll post my sleep scores this next blog post. God damn it. I don't even have just look up Peter Meglis, you'll find it. I've been getting 100% sleep scores the last like week or so. And like, I want to say that to show that like I'm prioritizing my sleep. So, anyway. I don't know if anybody's going to watch this, but regardless, I needed to get it out, you know? I needed to get it out. Maybe one day I'll synthesize all this. But anyway, we're back at the hostel. Walk the long way. I think that's all I have to say. So we talked about eating out, talked about feeling of not wanting to plan, and the dream of having a full-time travel planner for me. Then we talked about would you say a difference in value systems for food and eating, and my experiences getting teased for eating out at the hostel, and then my observations about what people eat in the context of work, and questioning why people don't prioritize basics like food and sleep more. That is my conclusion. I hope you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, and evening. I'm gonna go do a meditation and then do some work. See ya.